Well, hello and welcome to Tea Talk. This is Lady O, and I'm so happy to see you guys as we get ready for another segment of topics that I know you're going to be really excited about. I have with me a very special lady, and we're going to be talking about how to have a wonderful Christmas and not feel so bad when Christmas is over because you've overspent your finances. And so we've got some really realistic things we're going to talk to you about, some good tips. Some of them are just going to be very practical from our experiences. Some will be professional because the lady I have is an expert. I call her the money lady. And so we want to make sure that we're not having a Christmas where we are just in debt and it's going to take us 6 months to a year to get out, and then before you look up it's Christmas again. And really just talking about understanding what Christmas is really all about, so we don't get stuck and hung up with the world's way of Christmas. And it's not even before Thanksgiving they have already started putting Christmas stuff out because they want to get you stuck in that trap. So I have a lady here who's going to really help us with that. And so why don't you call your in-laws and your friends, all of those people that you know need to hear this, and tell them to join in, because we want to make sure that we are educated and we're making informed decisions that will make sure we have a very happy Christmas and a prosperous new year, right? So without further ado, I want to introduce to you my very dear friend, and she is an expert in this field. She's written a book, and she'll tell you all about her book and her classes that she offers with money. She does seminars and things like that, all dealing with money, and she is a very good steward. And she does live happily ever after with a prosperous life. I can't even get it out. But so let's just go ahead and welcome her to Tea Talk. This is none other than Dr. Ruth Ollison. If you will welcome her to Tea Talk. And Dr. Ruth, it's good to have you today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's really good to be here again. I always enjoy our time together.
Always. And I'm loving that yellow. That's my favorite color.
I kept it on for you.
I love yellow. And guess what? My grandbaby, I have a yellow blanket that I bought for myself because I love yellow and it's really soft. And so when she came over, that's the first thing she saw. And I had never, ever had it around my neck. She claimed it for herself.
Yes.
So now she and her baby brother have all of their scents and their little sticky things on it. So guess whose blanket it is now? It's hers.
It's hers. That's right.
Well, listen, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, about your book, your classes, and what qualifies you to be able to talk to us about Christmas and spending and not overspending during Christmas.
Well, I'm qualified because you asked me to do it. So
I know you qualified.
I have, been around the block a little bit, and I grew up without a whole lot of finances. Okay. A lot of love around Christmas. So I think we got the focus right. And my mom was a single mom, and she raised not only me, but 3 other siblings, in addition to cousins that we brought in. So you can imagine that we just didn't have a lot to spend on Christmas. And she'd come around and she'd ask us, well, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? And we had this list. And whenever it came, real close to Christmas, she'd have to sit me down and say, well, it's going to be hard. I'm not going to be able to do that. And I'd just say, oh, that's okay, Mom.
Yeah,
That's okay. And I really meant that because I saw how hard she worked and how difficult things were for her, and yet how much she just took such good care of us. Right. And I wanted her to know that in terms of the physical stuff, junk that we buy, it was really okay. Because 300.
And I'm laughing here because you are not the typical child. Most of us be like, what do you mean? Santa's going to bring this. I'm going to tell him what I want. And I expect it to be under that tree. But you said something earlier I want to just kind of go back to, because it just really kind of stuck with me. When you said it, I was like, wow. You said that the love, you all focus more on giving the love rather than giving things. Now, I think that's great, and we all kind of grew up that way. But part of it, I wonder if it was because we couldn't do anything else but give love because we didn't have the money, even if we wanted to. And I say that because I think I grew up like that, but I think when I got to be where I could afford it, I wanted to get it for my kids because I didn't have it that way.
Yeah, we've got to be real careful about that because
Yeah,
this Christmas is about relationships. All
right.
right. It's about relationship. And it's not about stuff. And I
Right.
think sometimes we project whatever pain or neediness or we didn't get this, or we're going to make sure our kids got it. And their kids could care less about what they're not us. They're all
Exactly. It's really the adults. It's not the
it's
kids, it's the
right.
adults.
The adults are the problem. And
Yeah.
so we're reliving a past event that
Mhm.
didn't even happen. And we're trying to bring it up to now.
Wow.
And really, we need to just sit and really sit in, what is Christmas and what does it
Yes.
mean? And yes, you want to give things and if you can, but the main thing is the relationship.
Yeah.
And then don't get caught up in
Right.
buying a lot of stuff.
Stuff.
I tell young
Wow.
people, and I need to tell some old people now, that the
Mhm.
more stuff you have, the more time it takes. It takes away time, it takes away responsibility. And really, the more it's like the more you spend, the more you have to spend to keep it up.
Mhm. Mhm. To
Because
keep it up. Yeah.
it,
And
it
when you said that, I was like, ouch, because when I had my kids, it was like Christmas was this magical time. And my house is full of things singing and moving and lights flashing and so forth. So Christmas morning, we did the Santa Claus, and my house was full of stuff that the kids wanted. And that made me feel good, made me feel really, really good. And when my grandkids came along, I found myself wanting to do the same thing for them. Now, I had 4 kids, but now I've got 13 grandkids, and can you imagine? So my Christmas mornings, when my grandkids were here, and they just stopped coming here since pandemic, but before that, they'd all spend the night, the ones that were here, and I would make sure that their Christmas looked like the make-believe, the living in the past thing that you talked about earlier. So there would be presents strewn from the front door to my den because I had so many kids, because I wanted to make Christmas for them. Now I'm a Christian, but that's the way I grew up thinking about what Christmas really was. I wasn't thinking too much about relationships. And so when you bring that up, do you find that people are thinking more about relationships now?
no, no. I'm really deeply concerned about our people when it comes to money, when it comes to Christmas, when it comes to um, delayed gratification, and to understand that, what is money? What should we do with it? Why would you go and spend so much money on plastic stuff? Okay, I'll ask you a question. I'll ask our audience a question.
Okay.
Where is the stuff that you were all hot and bothered about 2 Christmases ago?
Wow.
Where is it? So you had to run out and you stood in line and you saved money and charged up your credit card.
You
I hope you didn't do all
charged
this.
it.
I hope you
Mhm.
didn't do all this. I hope you
Oh,
didn't.
yeah.
But where is that stuff? And that feeling, you got to watch feelings because we
Mm.
feel too much. I don't feel this. I feel like I need to do it. I
Yeah.
feel, and
I don't
feelings
feel
are
like it's
very,
Christmas. Yeah, I don't
listen,
feel like it's, the holiday seasons. I got to get in the feelings.
feelings are fickle
Ooh.
and they change so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you don't make a permanent or a semi-permanent decision based on a temporary feeling.
Wow. Especially when it comes to money, because once you put it out there, it's gone. I think people need to, this will be one of my suggestions. You can give suggestions as you go along too, but this is one of my suggestions is they should maybe put like on the refrigerator door, everything they spend for Christmas. and at the end of that month, see what it amounts to. Because you and I both know that if you charge it, if you don't have the money to spend for it, you charge it, it takes how many months to pay off that stuff?
Some people don't get it paid off for 6 months.
Yeah.
So you're spending money in advance that you don't
That
have.
you don't have.
And then, so, my thing is investing, not spending.
Okay.
I want money to make money. I don't want to
Ooh.
just spend money.
Yeah, it's like throwing it away.
It is. It is.
Because when you asked that question a minute ago, like what happened to the gifts 2 years ago, I'm trying to think about what were the gifts 2 years ago.
Yeah, you don't even
and they're in the
remember.
trash.
Yeah.
Or they don't work. So that was money. It wasn't investment as opposed to what you're just saying. Investments make money for you and they keep making money for you. And when you spend money on toys and all these things that you don't know what happened to them 2 years ago, you literally threw them away.
It's okay it's good. I'm not trying to be a Scrooge, but what I like to do is I like to study a person. Like I study my grandchildren.
Mhm.
And so my first grandchild, who's now 5, used to like water. Whenever she saw water, she'd just go
Right.
crazy. So you know what? The greatest gift I ever got her was a 20 pack of water. And I wrapped it, but it's 20 bottles of water.
Are
When
you
she's-
serious?
I'm so serious.
And she loved the
It was
water?
big. She got to unwrap it. And when she saw the water, she just started grabbing the bottles of water and I let her open them and she just poured them all over herself and just drank it and drank it. She was so happy.
My grandbaby's not like that. I don't
You don't,
know.
but
My
have you,
grandbaby would go like, Nana, what is this?
no,
What-
have you studied? You gotta study them.
Make sure that that's something that's meaningful to them.
And see
Yeah.
what they really like. I gave my kid, no, they're not kids, but the young people, their parents,
Mhm.
I gave them some coupons for babysitting.
Okay.
Okay, so you can
Mhm.
use these. And I bought them, little gifts, not a whole lot. When you get to be 30 years old, you should have everything
You should
need.
have everything. Yeah, I don't get my kids gifts like I used to now for
Are you sure?
grandkids, but one of the gifts that she was like my godmother, Sister Pat, at our church, she always gave my kids savings bonds. She would never give them a gift. And so when the kids turned 21, or some of them a little bit longer, because I think Joe just got his a couple of years ago because I had lost it. Couldn't find it. I don't lose money, but I put it up when we moved. And he got married and I never got a chance to give it to him. But whenever he was able to cash it in, that was the gift from her. So savings bonds would be a good thing. I don't know if they still do that or not. But what would you buy a gift for a child that would be an investment?
Well, I actually write checks to the parents and say, put this in their education fund.
Okay, so education fund would
Put
be
this in their 529.
Mhm.
That's what I do. And
Okay.
and I buy them things. My husband's a shopper. I'm not a shopper. My husband's a shopper.
Right.
So everybody pray for my husband because he
He
gives
loves to go
great
out shopping. My husband does too. Look here, he loves to go out Christmas Eve and shop. And I think it's something his mother instilled in him because I never go out Christmas. I don't like to shop late when I do shop. Now, let me get this straight too, because I don't want to sound like a hypocrite. I do shop and buy gifts for Christmas. I think the thing that I've learned over the years is not to have the whole floor. I don't have to buy 5 or 6 or 7 things for every child. Like you said, study your child. I like to buy clothes, and I do usually for the little ones, I usually buy something that they can use. Like last year, I bought my grandbaby, which is, she's 4. I bought her she loves picnics. So this picnic bench with the umbrella on it, and it's a Tyco, you can wash it off. So guess where they eat when they come to my house? We pull that out.
Mhm.
For picnics, we can have stuff outside. So I try to buy something that's not going to be thrown away that they like. So I did study her. I see Tracy and Deborah on it too. Y'all jump in here if there's anything. What is a gift you bought your grandchild or you that would be something that you might suggest, or do you have a question for Dr. Ruth? I don't want to ignore you guys. So do y'all have a question or comment? Because we're just having a good time talking. Anybody?
Well,
go ahead.
This is Tracy. I think y'all are right on. I used to just buy, ask my son, hey, what do you want? And just buy it without even thinking about it. But now my mindset is shifting, and like I'm buying him, he likes to collect coins now. So now I find myself looking at coins, and like you said, like CDs, and he'll look at me and say, Mom, I don't want that. But I'm like, but it's gonna help you later. It's gonna help you later. He still don't like it, but my mom did that. My mom gave us one gift we really wanted, and then she said, I'm gonna give you one that you want, and I'm gonna give you one that you need.
Okay. That's
and
good.
she usually gave us something like a CD, to take to the bank that we could maybe cash in 2 years or 3 years later. So that's what I'm doing with my son. Is I said, I'll give you one that you need, and I'll give you one that you want.
That's a good idea. And so you're not giving 6 or 7 or 8 gifts just to fill up the floor, because I know you only have one child. So I would have been kind of crazy. And when Batman was out, whatever was out, I made sure they had the cave and the car and all this stuff. And you really are teaching them how to spend money, what's valuable and what's important Christmas. So I think I like the tip that you gave, which people could really do, is to buy gold. I hear coins and things like that they could have an investment, like Dr. Ruth said. I think that's a very good one.
Right. And I'm finding out, I mean, I don't know, I'm still researching myself, is that that's what my banker was saying. It's like, hey, really look into gold. I mean, people are buying bars and different things. I know it's a little pricey, but I'm starting even looking at that as well. So yeah, even looking at bars and coins, and my son don't really like the CD thing, but when I say gold and coins, it kind of gets his attention.
Right. Get them a safe deposit box and start putting those CDs and those whatever else you buy for them. Dr. Ruth, what do you think about gold? Have you heard anything about buying gold and silver coins or anything like that?
I haven't, but I like it. It's not going to go away. Right. I like information. All right. So this proverb, it says it's better to get wisdom than silver and gold. And what I like to say is get both.
Get both of them. Because if you don't, you're going to lose a silver and gold. You want to know what to do.
It's not an either or. It's not an either or. So I've had one of the best gifts I ever received was a book. My daughter-in-law had studied me, and she went to the bookstore and bought a book. And it was by this guy named Wallace Wattles, 3 books in one. And I absolutely loved it. It helped me become a better person. Yeah. And so that's an investment. All right. Or an Audible subscription. Or someone, by the way, I got this gift recently for a birthday gift. And one of the church members who studied me had a t-shirt made. And it said, "You cannot tell me what to do. You are not my granddaughter."
And that fits you. I love it.
So it's so a gift that says you thought about the person.
Yes.
You know what they're into. Sometimes it doesn't, it doesn't cost that much. So what is a t-shirt? It's $14 or $15. And it says, I'm thinking about you, because really that's all a gift should say, is that I was thinking about you. I
love that.
That's what it says. And
because it's not about the cost, it's that she knows that you love your granddaughter, and she knows about the relationship between you and your granddaughter. She knows that would bring a smile to your face and that you would wear it.
Yes.
And so I think you're right. If you don't study the person, because some people don't like books. Now you were just happy about that book, but some people you give a book, they'd be like, put this on the shelf. I'm not going to read this book. I don't know what she's trying to give me, this message or whatever, but
I like what Miss Tracy just said. So she said, one that you want and one that you need.
Okay.
So the
I
book may
love it.
be, the book may be one that you need.
That you need, even though you don't want it, you need to read this. I love it.
Mhm.
Okay, Miss Deborah, tell us about your maybe a gift that you've given your kids, or maybe a mistake you made with giving your grandkids, whatever. Talk to us about your Christmas giving.
I think I make a mistake with all of it. Because even if it's something they need, they tend to break it. It
Uh-huh.
doesn't sometimes make it to next year,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so. But I don't buy anything that I can't pay for. I don't charge a thing. If I can't get it and pay for it, you're not getting it.
I love that. That's a very good tip. You know, you guys are giving tips as you're talking, because that's what I do too. Now, I do not charge Christmas gifts like that,
No.
unless it's something for my husband that's big that I really want him to have. But I don't think I can charge that, because I kind of save and put aside for it throughout the
Yes.
year. And I'm not charging it because it takes really a lot of people more than 6 months to pay that charge off,
Yes.
especially if you're paying $10 a month toward it. It could take you years
Yes.
to get it. So that's a good tip. To pay cash, or do you put money aside, or you just say, hey, do you just get one gift now? How do you go on that? Seems like it's kind of
Well-
almost like a budget. Do you use a budget?
Not really, but it's like I have the money in my checking account, but I know it's there, but I know it's what it's there for. And I guess you can't say, I'll say, okay, I'm going to spend $300 on the 3 grandkids.
Right.
And so once that $300 is gone, we're done.
Okay. I like
And
that.
I don't buy a lot of gifts for everybody else. You know, I used to feel guilty. If you buy me a gift, I need to buy you a gift. No, not that anymore.
That's a very good tip, because
That's
we
a good
all
tip.
fall into that. Oh, she got me a gift. I need to stop by the store and get something for her. And we end up buying something. And usually when you do a gift like that, it's usually something the person doesn't want or can't use, but it's like a token gift. And I used to hate those little token gifts because there's nothing I can do with it. And I
Right.
don't want to, put aside their gift that somebody gave me, but it's like, and how many of you re-gift? Oh my goodness, my daughter-in-law and well, I'm not gonna say which ones they are, and my daughter are the worst for taking stuff back and getting the money for it. And I'm like, I get offended, but it may be something that they didn't want. So another thing that we asked, and my daughter-in-law, one of them just sent me this today. Give me your wish list. What would you like? Because I'm going to choose one of those things. And so I would say that for the same grandkids. But let me back up. I'm getting really, really wise now in my old age. I used to do that for the grandkids, but some of the stuff that they got on their list, I'm like, this is your mama's list. It's not my list. But I would used to try, because it would be a big item. Like, that's a mama gift. Your mom and daddy need to buy that, not me. So what I decided then, I learned this from my grandparent-in-laws. I would buy all this stuff for the grandkids, and they would give them a $25 check. I was like, okay, that's how the grandparents are supposed to do it. So my budget is, and just say it's, for instance, I put a money part on every grandchild. I have 13, right? So I cannot be spending $100 on each one of them. That's $1,300 right there. But I think as grandparents, the time together is better, and to give them a gift that you can afford, and they're going to go throw it away anyway. So say a $25 check, you write out the $25 check. You don't have to go in the store doing all this shopping and buying stuff that you cannot afford, or stuff that they're not going to keep or use. That's my new philosophy. And then Dr. Ruth, what I do is I have a time with them where we do something that is meaningful to us. Like I'll have them come help me fix cookies, decorating together. We'll have some games and some fun, or we'll go see lights. But that doesn't cost me a lot of money. What do you think about that? Do we need to?
Well, I think what our children, if we really look at it, children don't really play with toys.
Okay.
They look at those colors, they look at all that, and they rip it open, they see it, they'll play with it in a minute. We got stuff.
Play with the box.
Yeah. And then they're gone.
Yeah.
When I look at my grandchildren, and also when our child was growing up, they like to do what I was doing.
Yeah.
They like to play with what I was playing with. And
Mhm.
so even now, the grandchildren will say, oh, it's 3 o'clock. Let's go in the prayer room.
Uh-huh.
And then they want my paper. I have loose leaf paper up there, my pens and my markers, and
Right.
they want to play with that.
Mhm.
And I was telling you earlier that we did that Sunday, and my husband came up. It was so kind of him. I love it when he comes and helps watch them. They're 3 and 5 now, very, very rambunctious. And they were so quiet and just, well, give me another piece of paper. Give me another piece of paper. He looked at me and said, y'all are using too much paper. And I'm thinking, use all the paper you want. It's 125 pages of loose leaf paper, and it cost me $1.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're having fun. And I take their little artwork and put it up, and that's our time together. That's the gift.
Yeah.
And please don't hear me say don't buy gifts. Buy gifts.
Buy gifts, just
But
don't
make
go
but
crazy.
but the important thing is, how can that gift inure to our relationship?
Yes.
How does that build our relationship? My 3-year-old says all the time, I want to go to the zoo. Or
With
he calls
you,
it,
yeah.
listen, he calls it the Zoom. I
The
want to go to the Zoom.
with you. Hopefully he's not talking about the meetings because we're on Zoom so much.
Yeah, he's heard it. When he heard first, he put zoo and Zoom together. He said, I want to go to
Yeah.
the Zoom. But to be able to take that time and to take him and his sister and spend that time. Wow.
Right.
That's really what I want to do. But I'll tell you the best gift I gave them ever.
Okay, give me your best gift. And the rest of y'all be thinking about your best gift that
Best gift. They are 3 and 5.
Uh-huh.
And so at the end of just buying them a little bit of stuff, I went through the dollar store, and there was a tea set
Mhm.
for $5.
Wow.
And it's green and orange. So it's, so it's not just the pink, the
Pretty.
little
Yeah.
prissy pink. It's green and orange and blue in it.
Right.
And they loved it. They pulled it out. They
Wow.
started eating on these little saucers and plates.
Yeah,
And they still eat on them. This has been a year. And then we have a little drawer in the kitchen. So when they come over, they set their place and they use their little, and they love this.
I love it. And
And it
kids love tea time, and this is the Tea Talk Club, but I remember one of my favorite gifts my mother got me was a tea set. And every year I do get tea sets too. They're plastic. They're not the ceramic ones because they're still kind of, but I like that. I think I will buy them a ceramic one for us to have together, because you're absolutely right, Dr. Ruth. They want to do what you're doing. And so you're teaching a lot of things when you have that tea talk time, that tea time, that pretend. I like that. Ladies, do y'all have a gift? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it was $5. It's lasted. It keeps them together.
Right. I love it. So ladies, what is the best gift you've ever bought, for, and I'm going to ask you if you've already told me, because I told you one of mine. I'm going to tell you one of the gifts, the most their expensive gift, that I kind of wonder if I should have ever bought that, or if I feel like it was a waste or whatever. So Tracy, you want to talk about a gift that you bought, whether it was a really great gift you bought or something for Christmas, or something you feel like it was a great waste? Not sure if she's on. She may have stepped away. Let's see who's there. Tisha, are you on that you can talk? You're the one that have little kids still. She still has a little one in her house. They may have stepped away. Okay, Deborah.
Oh, no,
there?
I'm here.
Are you there? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I'm here. So the best gift was actually, even though times have changed, it was a bike.
Oh, yes,
Children still get excited about a bike. When we were young, going outside was the business. So
that's right.
Not so much for these kids nowadays, but she really enjoyed seeing that bike and riding the bike. And then it encouraged me to be out more and to walk alongside her. And then I had to teach her how to ride it, which was very interesting. But it was a bike. Normally electronics nowadays are the big ticket items that kids like, but Yes, it was the bike. I won't forget that because her eyes just lit up.
Oh my, wow. And you know, when you were saying that too, I think about gifts giving too. Give things that can take you outside. Uh, Dr. Root talked about things, and I talked about, you know, games and things you do with them inside instead of the electronic games that you put them in a room, they can stand there all day with these electronic games, but no relationship, no interaction with a human being. But outside, one of the things that our children, I know, are really lacking from, is going to suffer from even as an adult, is they're not getting outside to get fresh air and sunshine and exercise. And they're stuck inside, and they're going to have the body of an inside person that's not exercised and taking care of the sunshine, the vitamin D that they get inside. When I go outside, it lightens my day because I believe that's the way God created to be. So to have them do something like that where they're outside, we used to get skates, which and rollerblades and bicycles and all those kind of things that we had to go outside and play with, the remote control cars that we used to go outside with on Christmas morning. You could kind of tell when people, the Christmas morning, we'd be outside to share what we got. What'd you get? What'd you get? And it was something outside. Now people are getting stuff that they get hooked up to a computer or TV. So I think that's a very good one, Sister Tish, that is very meaningful, it's relational, and it lasts. That bike will not go away. So that's very good. Tracy or Deborah, y'all want to share one?
Well, I think for my eldest grandson, the iPad
Uh-huh.
that I bought him, oh, it's been at least 6 or 7 years, and he still has it. It's still intact. So he loves his iPad.
Good.
And then the middle one, it was skateboard and hoverboard because he likes being outside.
Uh-huh.
And
good.
as well as the last year, I bought them collectively, I bought them a trampoline.
Okay. Oh,
So, you
that's
know,
a good
there's the
one.
exercise, and they all three of them love jumping in the trampoline.
Uh-huh. Sunshine and
Yeah.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some good choices.
I love that.
Well, let me tell you about a choice that I made to do one year, and was a kind of a costly choice, but it's something that was important to me. I don't know. I'm going to check this year to see how important it was for my kids. The year that they had the first Black princess, Tiana, I went out and spent many places because they were running out of them everywhere you went. And I went and I bought them up, gave each one of my granddaughters this princess doll. And it was, you know, and so I spent a lot of money for it, but it was important to me. But I wonder how many of them still have that doll. The one that my latest granddaughter had, I put hers up in my closet. So I know she still has it because I have it. It's still in the original box and everything, but that's really something that I wanted. But I think for their self-esteem, for them to see this Black princess, I wanted them to have that. And I spent a lot of money and time trying to get it that Christmas, but I don't know that they still have it. But I'm going to ask them this year. Anybody else have one that you think about? Was that a good gift, or was that something that was a waste of money or time?
Well, you know, sometimes I think about why we do things.
Okay.
And I'm careful about the culture
Okay.
and allowing the culture to dictate
Right.
what I want to spend money on.
Right.
Okay. You guys may not invite me over for Christmas, but I have never purchased a video game.
Okay.
And I have a son. No,
Yeah.
I didn't say he never had a video game. He and his father got together on that. But
Okay, but you didn't say he was a shopper. You're not.
I never spent a dime on a video game
Uh-huh.
because I felt, like you said, I think he needed to be moving. I think he needed to be outside. I thought he needed to be reading or engaging his mind in a book. And I know people will argue that all video games are good and all of this, but that's not where I wanted him to be. So I did not succumb to it.
Right. But you know what, though? Usually there's a parent that gives in. And so it looked like he went to dad with the men in the house, and we got this together because he wanted his son to have it. I mean, and we have had those situations too, where we've talked about it with my husband and has gone to buy like Nintendo. I'm gonna say that was our big one.
Mhm.
That was the first expensive thing. Was it Marco? It was some kind of Marco game. I forgot what it's called now. It's been so long ago. But anyway, Nintendo was a big one, and the different games. And my husband, being the man, he could identify with these boys, and he went and bought all these games and the set and the different things to do. They could have their own and so forth. And it caught those games. I think some of them were like $60 a piece back in the day. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I saw those. And I saw them. I never bought them. And some of them are still stacked around, some.
Right.
But guess what? I still have my money.
Look here, as far as me and my money, it didn't go on that. But yeah, and so we were cleaning out a room upstairs last year, and a year for whenever it was, and we had all of this trunk full of Nintendo games, and Bishop was saying, well, they don't use these things anymore. I said, I don't care, they cost so much money, don't throw those things away. Give it to their kids. And he's like, these kids don't want this anymore, they're using high tech. So talking about things that last, even the money we spent on that, it was really good for our boys. It did last them through their adulthood, and even in college they were playing a lot of this. But nowadays it's something new.
Yeah.
But Tracy, I know a gift you bought for your son that I was the beneficiary of. Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I remember the headphones. And I laugh because when I bought those, I really thought, oh, these are nice. They're Bose. And that's when I think the AirPods had started becoming real popular.
Right.
And the kids, all down the street, you saw kids with these little white things hanging out their ears. And I thought, that looks really, really dumb.
Yeah.
What is that? And I happened to end up buying me some eventually, but I bought him these Bose over the ear speakers, and he said, Mom, nobody's wearing that. Nobody's doing that.
So I was talking about trying to get into walking last year, and I said, I got to get me some headphones, and I got to get this and that, and Tracy said, I have some if you want. So that's when she told me the story about her son. Said, I don't want that.
Yeah, I'm like, how bratty is that? You got some nice Bose speakers, but you don't want them because nobody's doing them.
Okay, so let me ask y'all something. Since you brought this up, I'm describing to you what I'm hearing. So you remember just a few years ago, people had to have the thing around the neck to talk on the phone. Remember that? Right. I don't have any idea what people spent for that, but they had to have that. People were walking around, and it's almost like they were looking at you to see, did you see I have this thing around my neck?
Right. Exactly.
Now, even the white things, I don't see those as much as I did before. But weren't those
wireless?
Yeah, weren't they like 300 too? I mean, what it was?
Crazy how much they cost. My kids were gone by that time. How much those things cost?
Well, when they came out, they were running around 300, and they keep, like everything else, y'all, they keep coming out with a newer version.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the old version, you can get them now for about $100, but the new ones, new and improved, the 2.0s, now you can spend about 300 on those too. So you never stop. It never just, you just keep going.
And so that's the point. See, is that's the point. When is it enough? When do you get to the point where something works and you use that? Let me tell you a person who does that. And that is, I should know his name. He's like the richest guy in the world. Warren Buffett. He uses stuff, and he doesn't just change a model just because something new comes out. You got to learn how to keep using stuff and not just buy stuff because it's popular, because it's culturally, it's sometimes not even your culture that is relevant to.
Right.
But we have to have all this stuff, and we are spending our money. And I would just want to say, I think we're spending too much money.
Well, I agree. I agree. But I think it's just that we get caught up in it because we've been taught that. And I think that this is a good time to start trying to teach our children when they're young that you get one thing you want, one thing you need. My Aunt Nancy, I call her Aunt Nancy, God rest her soul. She had so many children, but they were givers. And so every time we go to her house for Christmas, she would have one gift for everybody every year. So one year it might be, and she'd have them wrapped in wrapping paper, and it may be a set of combs. You know, you may get like 3 or 4 combs, because you know how you go to the dollar store and a 5 and dime is what she called it, and you get a big package of all these combs, or she put a couple of them in there, wrap it up, and she give them to everybody. Or it may be a towel, a face towel. Everybody got a face towel this year. Everybody got a toothbrush this year. So it was something you could use. You weren't going to just leave it laying around. You were going to use it. And then my other aunt, she would get a calendar that was made like a cup towel. And so when you would hang it on your refrigerator, it had this little thing on it like this, like a little coat hanger, but you'd hang it on your refrigerator wall. The next year, when the year was over, you'd take it off, and it was a cup towel, you know, a dish towel where you dry your dishes with. So there were, at the 5 and dime store, things that you could buy that people could use that they wanted. And so I think we need to get back to going to asking them one gift. That's all you're getting. And then also too, how do y'all think about making your children work for some of those gifts? Maybe they can work toward one I'm going to buy, one you're going to buy. What do y'all think?
I was raised by my grandmother. These children have always worked for a gift.
Good. You make your kids work for the gifts? What do they do?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Extra chores. What I try to instill in them is consideration. You know, it's just those basic things that you want your child to do. Instead of saying, you know, seeing the dishes in the sink, you can say, hey, these dishes need to be washed. You know,
Right.
it's more than one thing I'm trying to implement. But yes, you got to work. You have to work for that.
I love that, because one of the things that really does bother me is I see that parents really want so much for their children, and they're teaching them, they think they're being kind to their children and loving them, but what they're doing is teaching them to be brats. They're teaching them to be entitled, and so they don't want to work. And I've always told my kids, when you get a certain age, when you're able legitimately to work, you will get a job at Kroger stacking somebody's groceries or something, but I'm not going to give you your gas money. You're going to have to earn those things. But for Christmas time, I think it might be a good thing too, for not only when they work, to say, you need to put up from that money, you need to give some percentage to church. I think my mom used to always send us with 25 cents when we were kids to go to church for Sunday school. And then as we got older, we got $1. And that was for God. And I think they need to also learn to put something in a bucket, a jar, something that they're going to buy a gift for us. For me, for Christmas, what I tell my kids, I don't need to give y'all money to go out shopping. For me, y'all need to have a jar somewhere where you're doing some chores. So how many of you all give your kids money to go buy you a gift? Has anybody ever done that before? I have.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it.
I think I've done that before.
Yep. Come on, Deborah. What about you?
I haven't. I don't even worry about the gift for me. So,
But you know, one of the things that I have started doing, because I started thinking about all the the extra gifts that we get our children, that they, you know, it can be access. It can be access. It'd be a lot of extra stuff. So we have this new rule that says, okay, you get something new, but you got to give something away that you don't use anymore.
I love it.
Yeah, you can get something. I'll give you, what you need, what you want, but you got to give away. So we have bags and bags that we take over to Goodwill and Salvation Army. And, so that we live right next door to a retirement home.
Right.
And we take some stuff over there, some socks, some old, buy some new socks. Let's just give out. We have a lot of stuff in our house. Let's give out some stuff before we bring something else in.
You got two things there that I think people, because we're taking down tips, and I'm taking down these as well, but one of the things is that you need to do some kind of service where you teach your children to, serve meals at the Salvation Army, give a gift at the church to a needy family, do the senior home, go sing music, go do something, bake cookies and give away to people on the bridge or something. I like that. I think we need to include that as a tip that we need to do. And then your other tip was when you said, give to the needy. What was it? Oh, this is something that I'm going to say ouch in because I've been told this before and I need to practice it, but I'm so busy doing Christmas, I don't have time to do it, but I needed to make time. I'm going to make time this year that you look in your closet and you give away something that's good,
Right.
that you want to keep before you bring in something else. And the reason why I said that, someone told me that one time with shoes, because I love shoes. And they said, before I saw it on TV somewhere. So if you want to buy 5 pairs of shoes, you got to give 5 pair away. And I didn't do that. And so now I have a whole bunch of shoes and I need to do that this year. So I'm going to do that. Anybody else?
As we just look around, look around your house, look around your closets, look around, to me, I'm looking around and I'm looking at this is just too much stuff. And it's, it's good, it's great, the goodness of God, and all that. But we gotta do what Tracy said, we gotta share this stuff and get this stuff. What this is another program, but what scares me is to leave all this for somebody else to handle.
Oh my goodness. To clean out.
Yeah.
When my mother passed away, we had to clean out through all of her stuff. I was like, Lord, I don't want nobody to have to go through this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
When I die. So you need to be looking at that, giving some of that stuff away.
And we got to decrease the collection.
The collection. Oh my God. I'm just saying, ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay. I'm saying ouch because I'm feeling really bad about this and I'm going to do it. But but I'm going to tell you honestly, because I've talked to my husband about this too. We're in hoarding positions. We have positions of hoarding, like as church people and pastors, we have books. This Bishop just went through and took out 2 big bins of his books this just today, because we got books everywhere over all these years. We have papers, we have stuff from the church, we have all this kind of stuff. And then the other business that is a hoarding business is teachers. Teachers collect all their stuff that they use teaching and their little favorite things and so forth. So when you look at that, and then the other thing that is, I'm talking about me personally, y'all can share y'all's little personal things. But for me, when we grew up, we did not have a lot. So you didn't throw it away. You gave it to the cousins or to who can them kids gonna need it. Somebody's gonna need this stuff. So you don't give it away. You pack it away until somebody has a kid or somebody needs it. But we just kept it because we felt like either somebody else is going to have a baby and we're going to need it. And anybody else have a testimony they want to get about their hoarding?
Well, I'm one of those people, but I don't call myself a hoarder. I call myself a pack rat.
Same difference. You just haven't got to the hoarding stage.
I just call myself a pack rat, but I kept everything when my daughter was born. I kept her baby bed, the playpen, the bassinet, but
you still have it?
Sister-in-law, I still have the baby bed.
Lord,
but my sister-in-law benefited from it. My niece benefited from it. So it wasn't like, everybody got a chance to, see them. Even my daughter's kids have slept in the bed. So
that's a good investment.
Yeah. So I did, but I do hold on to stuff and I take very good care of stuff. So, but it's time to let it go for real.
Exactly. Okay, so listen, guys, our whole thing was about, for this show, we really wanted to talk to people about, really rethinking about how they spend at Christmas time and not overspend. So we got some really good tips in here, but I wanted our guest, Dr. Ollison, too, and any of you all too, that have some good tips for people and not overspend. I think we've given some good things, but do you have any others or one that really kind of stuck out at you of ways that you can not overspend. And I think my first one was that I always tell people, don't charge it. You need to spend what you have, get on a budget, because when you charge it, it can take you years to pay it off, especially if you spend $3,000 or at Christmas time, which is easy to do if you have a large family and you give gifts to everybody. It can take you years to pay that off. And that's a waste of money because the interest rates are going up and you're going to pay more. What you charged last year, what you would charge this year is going to be much, much more, and it's throwing away money to charge those things. So that would be kind of my number one tip that I remember. So does anybody else have a new one or another one or one that really stuck out at them?
Well, I know that people don't use checks like they used to,
Uh-huh.
but if you started after Christmas and write a check, say $20 when you got paid, and subtract it from your statement so that you don't, it's like it's not there. Put that check aside so when Christmas times come, that's the money that you'll spend at Christmas.
A Christmas account. Very good. I like that. Anybody else?
I think that I've become very strategic around Christmas time because I used to go out and just spend, I got to get one for this niece, this nephew, this person, this person.
Uh-huh.
I get household gifts.
Yeah.
So my sister and her family, y'all gonna get a gift.
A family gift.
Yes.
Uh-huh. I like that.
That's what we're doing. We're gonna do a family, or even here, my husband and I had to make some adjustments even in our own home. We buy a gift for the house.
Right. Something you're gonna use.
Yeah. So, and I've had this conversation with my family. So I'm like, y'all, I don't want y'all mad, but this is the way we're doing it.
Yes. And be okay. All right.
Mhm.
They're coming out of your checkbook.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see. Do you have one, Sis Tish? Do you have
I
something?
do. I would actually stress the portion that we discussed about giving something away. So I just, my daughter and I just cleaned out one of her toy bins of 2 that were full of toys.
Right.
And it does give the child a sense of a rewarding feeling, knowing that they're giving their toys away, their precious toys too, because you were right. Give something that you love too.
Yeah.
And it made her feel really good to know that that bag of toys is going to another child that's going to enjoy those dolls and that dollhouse. So I would definitely keep that in mind. That's a great tip.
Okay. Dr. Ruth?
Yeah, I love what you said about your relative who is a giver. And there are people who is just in their heart, like they have to give something. They have to give something. And, and there've been many times when, I've been like that. I can just feel like, oh, God has blessed me. So I gotta give something. I gotta give something away. But I just want to say, be strategic, as Tracy has said, be thoughtful.
Right.
What are you really doing and why are you doing it?
That's good.
Okay. If it's just because somebody's expecting something and the the guilt and I got to get this and I know they're going to look at me a certain way, I'm going to get over that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But I want to be strategic and I want anything I do to be meaningful and really given from the heart and study the person. Study
That's
the
a good
person.
one. I like
It can
that
be
one.
very simple. You could print up something and frame it.
Yes.
This person has said,
A
or their
picture or
favorite
something,
sayings, and and just think about them. And that's my tip.
I love it. And Dr. Ruth, they're doing these things now that I really like too, that you can take the pictures and make a picture book and give to them. And like even with your grandbaby, they would love that. I think I'm gonna do that too, a picture book when you were one, a couple of their favorite, times together with you, Nana and I, we went to the zoo, we went whatever. I think that's one of the things I'm going to do this year is give them something of me and them.
Mhm.
And it doesn't cost a lot of money because you get the pictures and get that coupon, you can get it done. Here's another tip too, before we go, that my daughter, I have some wonderful daughter-in-laws, and they had this really great idea too about saving money. Get together when you have a large family like ours and pull names. So what we did, we didn't do it last year. And so a couple of them were really kind of like disappointed. And I'm going to suggest that this year too. Pull names. And when you pull a name, you ask the person, list 3 things that you want. And it cannot be over, I think the amount was $50. I can't remember. But when you think about buying one gift for $50 as opposed to buying 13 gifts at $50, you're liking the $50, okay? So, because you want it to be nice. You don't want to just get them a dollar store gift because you're pulling names. But I think it's also fair to like if you have 5 people in your family and you're all getting all these gifts, and if you got one person yours and you're having to buy, you only get one gift, this kind of makes it equitable, so that everybody's buying one gift and you're buying something that people want because they've given you that. So pulling names is a great way to do that. And then so we started doing that, and we started having a family outing where we had to each think of something that the family could do. And so I started getting the Christmas day. And so I would do like an outing with my kids. I love the lights. So we used to go to the lights up in by Texas A&M. It's gotten to be so crowded and so commercial now. It's not as much fun as it used to be to drive through and see all the lights. So we drive through communities, but find something for the family to do that has nothing to do with money. Cooking, baking cookies, putting up this or whatever. Just put some thought in it, as you all have said, be strategic about it, be relational about it. And at the end of the month, then you've got some memories that will never, ever grow old. You've got memories that you can't throw in the trash can. You'll be reminiscing for years to come. And so those are the kind of things that you want to do. So yes, you do want to buy gifts and go shopping, because I know y'all like me. Sometimes I like to go to the store here. And then I'll close it with this by saying that the real reason for Christmas is the birth of Jesus Christ. So while we're doing that, I would say we haven't talked about it a lot, but put that at the top of your Christmas list. This is what we're giving to the church. And because it is his birthday, and I would say lead your children to understand that, and even they could give, like you have $2 or $5 that you could put toward that. I think that's something that as Christians, we definitely need to put into the lives of our kids, that it's really not about you. It's not your birthday, okay? We celebrate Christ by giving to people we love, but we're not going to give all this stuff all over the floor to you and nothing to Jesus Christ and his church. So I think that's another thing we need to do. And I really believe, and I know that God will bless us for doing that. And I know down the line, future wise, our kids will be more mature. They won't become so entitled and caught up in the world. They will be really understanding what Christmas is all about because we taught it to them. And that's the greatest gift that you can give to your children, is to give them the real meaning of Christmas and make sure that Christ is the center of your Christmas. So that's all I have for today. Some great tips. Pass this show on to somebody else who needs to hear it so they can prepare to have a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. Well, that's all our time for now. Thank all my guests for being here. Thank you, Dr. Ruth. And we'll see you next week at 3 for Tea with Lady O. Bye-bye for now.